Meta just went nuclear because powering the future of AI doesn't run on vibes and solar panels. With a 20-year deal for clean nuclear energy, Meta's locking in low-carbon power to fuel its data-hungry AI ambitions. As demand surges and politics stall new power projects, the real tech edge might come from controlling the grid, not just the code. Watch the full video, because Meta's energy play might be the smartest move in Silicon Valley right now.
Gary, first thing to lead us off this week, we're talking about Meta. We're talking about nuclear here, the good kind. Thing number one, Gary, Meta goes nuclear. Excited to hear about this one.
All right, so Meta, the company formerly known as Facebook, just signed a 20-year PPA, that stands for Power Purchasing Agreement. The agreement is with Constellation Energy. It secures a multi-decade contract for nuclear power. It meets Meta's stated desires for carbon-free electricity for AI applications. And, the reason that's important, Rob, is because AI data centers, you need like 5 or 6 nines reliability. You can't power this stuff with, solar or wind. It really needs to be up all the time. But for, political reasons and for marketing reasons, Meta doesn't want to be investing more in carbon-based electricity. So the only solution here, if you want to have carbon-free, inexpensive, reliable electricity, that's nuclear. There's no other option. Constellation will be providing the energy from their state-subsidized Clinton Clean Energy Center in Illinois. I've been practicing that all day. And in an additional benefit, this project will eventually transform that energy center into a private market plant. So Meta is not only securing their energy for an AI future, they're doing so in a reliable, carbon-free way, and they are turning something that has been state subsidized into privately funded. This is a win for everybody. It's worth pointing out that individual data centers are research labs that use enough power to supply entire cities. And tech companies like Meta, they're under huge social pressure to do it without increasing carbon emissions. And they're following in the footsteps of Amazon, which just did a deal earlier this year with Talent Energy. That is a DKI position, thanks to Enrique Abeda at HX Research. We've made well over double our money in that position for DKI subscribers. But they are, a similar nuclear provider, and they just sold a ton of power to Amazon in this kind of deal. So we love to see stuff like this. These government subsidies, I think, are going to be stopped, and that money will be supported by Meta starting in 2027, justifying further investment in the plant. So again, this is a win all the way around. We're happy to see it.
Yeah, Gary, obviously, as DKI subscribers, we love seeing more and more companies secure nuclear power, just leveraging nuclear. What's the way to profit from this type of demand that we're seeing, that AI is creating, and as you've gone on record saying, hey, nuclear is the best option here, but what's the profit path?
Okay, so that's a great question, because the key thing here is we are going to see an enormous increase in use of nuclear energy. China is building a huge number of plants. Europe is looking at new plants. Here in the US, there's more demand for nuclear power. President Trump announced, just a couple of weeks ago, efforts to create more nuclear power on military bases, providing additional supply. All of these things are going to use more nuclear power. It's also worth pointing out, we are trying to do something here in the US that's never been done before. We are trying to recommission 3 previously decommissioned nuclear plants, most of them in the Midwest. So there's all of this demand for uranium, the fuel for this. One of my largest positions personally is in uranium. Personally, I like the physical rather than owning the miners. We've looked at companies like CCJ, that's Cameco in Canada, Kazatomprom, but there are issues. Cameco right now is underproducing, and they also, it's expensive. It's expensive to build new mines. So they're underproducing and actually overpaying in the spot market to supply long-term contracts at a loss. Kazatomprom can't get enough sulfuric acid to process the uranium. So there are all of these supply issues. We talked about this in last week's version of the 5 things. So we like owning the physical. If you want to know what ticker, what investment we're using for that, feel free to subscribe. That's something that, we've saved for DKI subscribers. It's a position where they've made a ton of money, but if you think it's too late, it's not. I just increased my personal position a week ago in this. Last week, I was updating DKI subscribers that I was buying. That position was up a huge amount today. We're not short-term investors, but it's always nice when you buy something that goes up a huge amount, within a week. That was nice to see. But yeah, we are playing this with huge positions in the physical spot uranium market.
Yeah, I love it. And I think it's great for the thesis too, Gary. We've obviously seen over the last just month and a half ramp up, and then further doubling down on what is positive thesis that we're seeing in nuclear, uranium, and obviously the AI demand as it only continues. And keep reminding subscribers one thing, Gary, you've said, these are your words, when there's good technology, what happens is people tend to want to use it more and more and more and more. So that huge compounding growth, and especially when it comes to AI. Anything else there, Gary, before we move on to the next thing?
Yeah, one thing is really amazing. I have plans to travel for a year, and I spent my whole first month of being out of my house in the US, traveling around and seeing, people I really care about. But 3 of the people I spent time with are all on the DKI board of advisors. They are all personally doing a ton of stuff with AI. I just got off the phone with a close friend of mine who has amazing ideas on ways this technology can be used. I've started to use it not only for DKI's research, but also for trip planning. I'm looking at going canyoning and heading to Porto this weekend. I literally just went into ChatGPT and said, these are my parameters. This is where I am. This is what I want to do. And instantly ideas with links came back. So I'm using it more and more. People on the DKI board are even building, Kit MacArthur is building his own at-home LLM to forecast energy demand and pricing. I mean, the amount of technology that's being used and expertise we have just in-house on this is incredible. So I don't think this is something that's going away. I think we have to assume that the demand is going to be increasing.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, same thing on our side. We even have projects that are pipelined for AI development. We have our own tool that services almost every single one of our SEO clients, supporting content production and scaling. And then just utilizing, your regular GPTs and LLMs. And super excited. We have an MBA intern starting over the summer, and she's working on same thing, her own proprietary LLM forecasting and predicting and modeling U.S. auto market and auto industry. So super excited to work with her. And I think what you're seeing too is the young people are heavily investing as well, right? So once these people start to get out of school into the workforce, I think you're only going to see more and more adoption because it's going to be championed by new employees coming into the marketplace as well, because those tend to be the guys that are utilizing this AI at pretty superior levels.
Yeah, I agree. And, Rob, think about this for a minute. Most people don't think a whole lot about electricity supply. We've all grown up in a world where you just plug something into the wall and it works and it's like magic. And my whole life, with the exception of a few storms here and there, anything plugged into the wall just magically works. But, you build just one AI data center, and remember, there are literally thousands of them that have already been built in the US. You build one of those and that uses as much energy as an entire city. So we need to build an enormous amount of additional capacity. Certainly we do have access to oil and natural gas, like, carbon fuels, but that's not politically feasible right now. It doesn't actually matter right now whether any of us believe in this environmental belief or that one, or like our personal beliefs don't matter. It's just not politically feasible. So we're not going to be building more coal plants. We will be building more nuclear.
Great. Yeah, great stuff there, Gary. And we'll be sure to keep you in tune to what's happening in the nuclear market. And as Gary said, if you want to unlock that current recommendations tab to see the uranium positions that Gary may be in, then you can sign up for a premium subscription on our website.